Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Burnt Pancakes podcast. I'm your host, Katie Fenske, and like always, I'm here to remind moms that everyone burns their first pancake. On today's episode, this one is going to be a solo episode, so you get me all to yourself. I'm just going to be sharing a day in the life of a mom of three boys. So I'm just going to walk you through what a typical weekday looks like in the chaos that is the Fenske house. Now, before I start this episode, I do want to ask you if you are loving this podcast, if you want to help me out and help the podcast grow, it would mean the world to me if you left me a review. So on Apple Podcasts, if you're listening on Apple, if you go to my podcast page, so where all the episodes are, if you scroll down, you can go to the stars and just click on the 5 stars. And if you're feeling extra special, you can leave me a little review. Just tell me what are the episodes you love, anything that you're getting from this podcast. If you listen on Spotify, you can go ahead and follow the podcast. So just by clicking, I think it's a plus sign. And then if you're watching on YouTube, hello. If you could subscribe to the podcast on YouTube or just leave me a comment on any of the episodes. So all of those things help to grow the podcast. And we are growing. Each week I get to see how many downloads I am getting. And although I am here just to spread the word, it always feels good when more moms are hearing this and hearing the message that, you know what, no one's perfect, you guys. Okay. So back to not being perfect, let me tell you about my day. Um, a typical day. So I'm going to talk about a weekday. A typical weekday, I actually do wake up pretty early. Now, I am not doing this because it is so fun and I love getting up early. It's because if I don't get up early, I will not get a workout in. And I need to. I need to move my body and I just feel better. I mean, working out is not something I'm like, oh, I love working out. Cannot wait to work out. But I need to move my body. I feel really good after I do some sort of exercise, whether it's walking or I'll tell you about my newest obsession. But I do get up very early because I cannot do anything when my boys are awake. And I like having that like special me time before the chaos begins. And also I've noticed like if I try and push my workout till later in the day, I don't do it. I just cannot. I'm like that type of person. Like I have to wake up and start working out within, 15 minutes or I lose all motivation. So I get up and take either a 5 o'clock or a 6 o'clock workout class. I know, sounds crazy, sounds early. If you are not a morning person, totally fine, just sleep in. But I have to do it just to get it over with. And I am a bit of a morning person. Like I've always kind of been that way. I'm not a night owl. My husband is not a morning person. So for him, he's just like, I don't know how you get up this early. I also don't know how I get up this early, but somehow I do. So I'll set my alarm. If it's a 5 o'clock class, I'll get up at 4:38. If it's a 6 o'clock class, I'll get up at 5:38. And that gives me, I don't know, 6 to 8 minutes to get up, get dressed, do my thing, and then get out the house. I like to just get up and go. So I have been going to a Legree studio for the last year. So if you're not sure what it is, it's Legree and they have megareformer machines. So just Google it and see what this thing looks like. I had no idea when I first went what it was like. So the first time I went, my sister convinced me to go. She was like, I really want you to try this Pilates studio. You're going to love it. It's so fun. And I'm like, oh my gosh, no, like that doesn't sound fun to me. It was actually in the evening. She wanted me to go in the evening. So I had to like get my mom to watch the boys. And I even asked her, I was like, should I wear like a sweatshirt? Should I wear long sleeves? Is it gonna be cold in there? Thinking it was more like yoga. And she's like, definitely not. It's like a workout and you're gonna sweat. So I go to the first class and no joke, I could not walk for about 3 days after. It was that hard, like muscle shaking. Oh my gosh, I cannot finish this exercise. That kind of hard. But in a good way. I hadn't really done any intense working out since having Maverick. So my other two, I like worked out all the way through the pregnancies. started working out, when the doctor told you you could. And I kind of bounced back pretty easily. With Maverick, that didn't happen. I had a really hard time working out with his pregnancy. I don't know if it's because I was chasing it 2 other kids, so it was exhausting. It just like hurt to move with him. I was pregnant the longest. I was pregnant for 41 weeks. Um, and then I just did not get into a workout routine after he was born. And for the first couple of years, he woke up super early. So the most I got was like a walk at 5:30 in the morning because I had to get him out of the house. So yeah, I hadn't been doing a whole lot, but I felt like I needed something, but I didn't want to go back to like the boot camp I had been going to because it was like heavy, heavy weights, lots of running, and I just felt like I needed something else. So this Pilates studio, or Legree studio, my sister got me hooked on, and I have now been going for a year. Um, they have early morning classes, which work out better for me because we have sports in the evening. I mean, I can't leave my kids at night to go work out. It just doesn't work. Um, and I have tried to go to like the 12 o'clock class now that my kids are in school, and it's really hard to like get dressed for the day and then work out and then have to have your day still. So mornings are working out for me, early mornings. I'll go there, it's like a 50-minute class, or they also have something called a Versa Climber, which like if you look back at like 24-hour fitness back in the, 2000s, that like climbing machine where you stood on your arms and legs were moving, it's like that, but not as like hard as that. That thing, I was like, how could you be on that for 25 minutes? But this Versa Climber it reminds me of a cycling class because you're like loud music playing, keeping up with the tempo, lots of cardio. It's like really, really cool. I actually love it. It's only a 30-minute class, so it's a lot shorter, but it's great cardio. So I'll do those during the week in the mornings. And again, if you cannot get up to work out, don't blame you. Like it's not fun, but I just feel so much better when I get home and I've done my workout. Love it. Check out Megareformer, check out Legree Studios. I also get to take one friend for free. So if you are in the Orange area and you would like to come with me, let me know because I can bring a friend. I brought a few of them and I'm like trying to recruit more people. Okay, so I do my workout in the morning. It's great strength training. Get home, and if I do the 6 o'clock class, I either have like 5 minutes before I have to wake the boys up. I usually wake them up around 7-ish. Or if I do the early class, which it's really hard to get up that early in the morning, but to get home and have like an hour before anyone wakes up is actually kind of nice. So my newest thing that I've kind of gotten into on those mornings is my husband really wanted a cold plunge for Father's Day. I wasn't sure about this. I was like, okay, cool. Like I'll get this for Father's Day, but I'm definitely not trying it. But he made me try it. So it's this like big bin or barrel. It's from a company called the Pod Company. So it's a big barrel that you fill with water. And like originally we were just like chilling it with ice. And we realized that's a lot of work to try and keep the temperature down and like get ice. So we did get the chiller. So it's like a thing that keeps the water cool. So we have it set for 50 degrees. And I thought my husband was insane when he wanted to do it. The first time I tried it, I absolutely hated it because I didn't know you were supposed to just like, be calm, be zen, be cool. And all I could think about was if this were the Titanic, the water is 50 degrees. Titanic, I think, was like 30 degrees. All I could think about was like, I would die of hypothermia if this was the Titanic right now. This is horrible. And I'm only doing this for like a minute and a half. They did it for hours. I don't know why my brain kept going there. Anyways, I kept doing it. And actually, it has become something I enjoy doing in the mornings. Not every morning, but on mornings, especially when I do the cardio class. So it's in our backyard. And I just hop in for a minute and a half or 2 minutes. I think you could go longer, but it's cold. And you just submerge yourself to your shoulders and you just sit there. And if anyone has tried it, it's a great feeling. Like you have this weird like sensation of like the heat and the blood rushing to your head. And like it gives you like mental toughness, knowing like I can get through this. And the feeling of getting out and then like putting clothes on, it's a really really nice experience. And there's supposed to be a ton of health benefits too. Like it helps with muscle recovery and improving your mood and improving your sleep. It increases your metabolism. Hello, women in their 40s. Like I could use that. And it's supposed to help with immunity. So right now, let's see, I had a sick kiddo last week. I'm hoping that doing my cold plunge is keeping me from getting sick too. I just know that I feel good when I do it. And I don't know if in the winter months it's going to feel as nice, if I'm going to still want to do it. But after a good workout, feels pretty nice. So around 7-ish is when I wake up the boys. They actually all share a room. So we have Maverick in like a twin bed, and then Jet and Ronan sleep in bunk beds. So Ronan's the top, Jet is on the bottom. And it's interesting on school days, they will sleep until 7 and I have to go in there and wake them up. But on weekends, somehow they get up before 7. So that always baffles me. But anyways, I feel very fortunate that they are now sleeping until the sun comes up. Because when they were babies, it was like we were up at like 5:30 every morning. So the fact that I actually have to go in and wake them up, it's actually a really nice feeling. So I wake them up and I actually kind of like doing this. I'll come and just like cuddle in their little beds and snuggle with them. Usually takes about 10 minutes of like, okay, come on, guys, let's get up. And then I finally flip on the light and I'm like, everyone get out of bed. Come on, you gotta have breakfast. So this is about the time when I grab my first cup of coffee. So my husband has, a good old coffee, Mr. Coffee, I think, coffee maker. We just do nothing fancy, just coffee at home. Um, I will drink mine with cream or milk and sugar. I put milk and sugar in them. I've tried so many times to just drink black coffee. Not there. Can't do it. But so as I'm drinking my coffee, this is when I make breakfast for the boys. In our kitchen, we have like a bar counter with 3 bar stools. So they usually are just like sitting at the counter. At some point, I need to teach my 10-year-old to just make his own breakfast. I'm like, cereal really isn't that hard, but somehow he just sits there and waits for me to do it. But I also don't have any cool breakfast hacks. Cereal or frozen waffles is usually on the menu. If I'm feeling a little extra that morning, I might do turkey bacon, hard-boiled eggs. We always tend to have those in our house because those are easy to give out. Scrambled eggs. If I'm really, really feeling good, I'll do some pancakes. But usually it's just something quick. I know like before I had kids, I'm like, my kids will not eat sugary cereal. And now I'm like, do you want Lucky Charms or do you want Trix? Which one is it? And no joke, I say this every time I buy them. Maverick, I'm not going to buy these for you if you don't eat just the marshmallows with the Lucky Charms. Like he will only eat the marshmallows. And every time I say, I'm never buying these again. And I do buy them again, but that's pretty much our breakfast. I also, at this time, I'm making lunch for the boys. So Ronan generally gets school lunch because I guess that's cooler than bringing your lunch. So he'll do a school lunch and I'll pack the lunch for the little boys. And I have learned that I should just never pack fruit in their lunches. Never pack anything healthy because it just comes back and then they cannot eat it later. Like, no joke, this morning I was taking and putting Maverick's snack in his backpack because I put it in like the front pouch and realized that Friday he didn't eat the apple slices I gave him. They were sitting there in his bag still. So if I pack chips and I don't know, crackers and I don't know, what else? What else do I give them? Basically chips. If I pack them chips, they will eat it. So I want to tell the teachers who are at school right now that I don't only feed my kids junk food. I just only feed them junk food at school because they don't eat the healthy food when I send it. If they get home from school, I can usually throw some like melon or berries or, you know, something better on a plate for snack and they'll eat it because I'm there going, okay, you left 3 apples, please eat those. But they don't at school. So yeah, it's a pretty unhealthy junk lunch when they're at school. Now, we shoot to leave the house by 7:45 because school drop off is between 8 and 8:10 and we're about 15 minutes away. So my kids do open enrollment, so we're not necessarily at our like closest public school, homeschool. We're like we chose a different school in the district. So we have a little bit of a commute. So it takes us about 15 minutes to get to school. But lately, we have been listening to books on tape in the car because my son Ronan, my oldest, my fifth grader, is super behind on taking these like book quizzes that he's supposed to take by the end of the trimester. And so I realized, oh, shoot, we have a lot of catching up to do. We're going to listen to a book anytime we're in the car or like before he goes to bed, he listens to them. So the car rides are actually pretty quiet. The boys are in the car, Ronan sits in the front seat, and we just have a book on. Drop off is pretty easy at our school too. You just kind of pull up, they get out. There's really not that long of a wait. Um, and then head up on your way. In the past 10 years, I have had a human in the car, a little human, whenever I drove anywhere. So the fact that I can drop them all off at school now and there's no one in the car and I can listen to a book, I can listen to music, I can listen to a podcast that I've actually chosen is heaven. And I am going to say right now, I am loving having them all in school. Now, usually on the way home, I will either go straight home or hit up the grocery store because now I can grocery shop without my three crazies. Or I'll meet my friend for a walk and we'll do like a little walk before I head home. Um, but generally it's like a short little thing and then I'm home by 8:30, 8:39. And that's when I get ready for the day. If it is not a day that I've had to wash my hair, I can get ready in about 10 minutes, just throw on some makeup. If I curled my hair the day before, I can usually just like fluff it up. If I did like a crazy sweaty workout, then I'll have to shower. But usually the Pilates, I sweat, but not enough to have to wash my hair. So just fluff up my hair and then my quote unquote work day begins. So this is usually when I start working on my podcast. So not just recording, but I'm working on getting guests. I'm working on editing the videos. I am like prepping for an upcoming recording, writing show notes, writing the newsletter, uploading the video onto YouTube, creating video clips for social media. So there's a lot that goes on besides just like hitting record and I have a podcast. It's all fun stuff for me. Things I have learned as I've gone. Like I didn't know how to do any of this before, but I've kind of picked it up and it's fun. It's my work. But this is also the time of day where I do my potty training consultations. So not sure if you guys know, but the other side of my business is that I do one-on-one consultations with parents to help them with any of their potty training needs. So some people are like, I don't know how to potty train. What do I do? Others are like, we tried and this is what's happening. It's been a mess. Like, how do we get through this? So usually during the day is when I have my openings available to schedule those. If you know someone who would like a potty training consultation, you can hit me up because I'd love to help you. I'm also working on a digital course. So I want to be able to offer something like not everyone is open to like meeting virtually with a stranger that they don't know. So I want to create a course that covers everything there is to know about potty training, how to get through any hiccup, navigate everything. And that is coming out. I'm saying it right now. It's coming out early 2025 because I'm like about halfway done making it. It's been something that I've wanted to do for like the last 2 years. So I am busy recording that, editing those videos, getting that ready so that I can start offering that in the new year. So it's all kind of cool. I do all of this in my lovely office. So I'm sitting in my office slash guest room slash used to be my kids' nursery. So once Maverick was old enough to be booted out of here, we took down his crib. We put him in the room, hence why all three of my boys are in the same room. And I turned our guest room into my recording room office. But we also have a really awesome Murphy bed that kind of like folds up along the wall. So when we do have guests here, we can kind of put that down and have a full bed in here. But I am here. I'm in my office. And this is where all of the work gets done. Sometimes I do like going to like a coffee shop and just sitting down and like hammering out a bunch of stuff. That's been something that I've really enjoyed lately. Just getting out of the house because I noticed when I am home, it's like, oh yeah, let me go switch the laundry. And I'll go switch the laundry and I'm like, the kitchen's a mess. Let me clean up the kitchen. And then I'll miss like an hour of work time. So that's been fun. Now that the boys are in school, I also am like keeping some time free to be able to help at that school. So I've been able to like sign up to go on field trips now and help with the art program. I got to volunteer in Ronan's room. I'm sure I embarrassed him like crazy. But this is something that's been really hard to do until this year because I've had Jet and Maverick home. And I would have to find a babysitter and like the teachers would need help in the classroom, but it was always like in the hours when I'd have to do preschool pickup or something. So it's been nice to be able to be available to help with stuff like that. Now, I also save some time to meet up with friends during the day. It's always an extra special day when I have like a coffee meetup, or tomorrow I have book club scheduled. So I'm going to meet with some of my good friends to do our book club. Um, that has been something I've been really enjoying, just having a little bit more time with friends that doesn't involve kids. So prior to this, for the last 10 years, anytime I'd want to see a friend, it was like, hey, let's meet at a park or let's meet here. But the kids are always there. So the fact that I can like sit down for an hour, chat with some friends, like catch up without being interrupted has been so lovely. So I highly recommend having your kids in school because it's great. But if you have littles at home, oh my gosh, I know just how exhausting that is and how hard it is not to be able to like just talk to friends. So, okay. And then I'm doing my work or I'm meeting with friends. I generally try to like fit in just a little bit of time for like a lunch break. The day really does go so fast. So I have from like, I get home at like 8:30. And then I don't leave to pick up the boys until 2, but my goodness, that time goes so fast. If I want to like, I'm going to clean the kitchen before I go. Or my husband works from home Mondays and Fridays. So he'll take his lunch break at like 1. And I try and like, let's have lunch break together. Like, let's make our lunches together just so we have a little time. But I also want to like squeeze in some laundry, um, squeeze in some reading. Like I do want to read for my book club. I was a little behind this month. So I do try and squeeze in a little bit of like non-working, just getting stuff done time. Um, and sometimes that means taking a little nap. No joke, getting up so early in the morning is tiring. So if I can squeeze in a nap sometimes too, like I'll set my alarm like I got to get up by 2 o'clock. So at 1:30, like I'm just going to shut my eyes for a little bit because I'm such a napper. I don't know if I've ever said that on the podcast. I love taking naps and that helps me get through the day. Okay, so school pickup is 2 o'clock. Or sorry, school pickup is actually 2:30, but I leave around 2 o'clock because the line is so long. So unlike drop off where you just like pull up, go, pickup is a lot longer. We're on like a busy kind of canyon road. And there's no like just park in the neighborhood and walk up. It's a lot harder. So I just plan on going and sitting in the car line for a while. The younger two get out at 2:20, but because Ronan doesn't get out at 2:30, they want you to pick up at like your oldest kid's time. So technically I shouldn't be in the parking lot till 2:30. And our principal's also like very strict about the rules at our school. So I'm always like nervous, like, but it's 2:29, she's gonna be like, you're early. Don't come so early. Anyways, um, this is also not a bad time because I just sit in the car line and I either, yes, scroll social media if my phone has access because it's kind of like in a hill. So sometimes I can't get it. I bring my book with me or I listen to a podcast. Just some quiet time before the craziness begins again, because once the boys are out, there it is. It's exhausting. Um, so pick them up around 2:30. We usually come home and they're starving, of course, because all they had is a snack lunch, because that's all they eat. On Wednesdays, they do get out at 12:40 though. So it's like early day every Wednesday. And that's usually the day we go to lunch. They love In-N-Out, which is crazy busy. We sometimes go there. But just like a quick lunch out. It's nice and it also kills time before we have to be home. Um, but anyways, we get home and Usually it's like kind of like downtime. I give him a little downtime, but we also have to get homework done because we have sports. Luckily, so Jet has homework. He gets like on Monday, she assigns like all the work for the week. So I just kind of put it together into a packet. And I try and get as much done on Monday as I can because I hate having stuff to do the rest of the week. He seems like he has the most because Ronan is in a combo class this year. He's in a 5-6 combo, and I think they get a lot of independent time. So he usually gets his work done in class, which is nice. But it's hard to know, are you really getting it done or are you just like rushing and turning in so you don't have to have homework? And then Maverick does not have any homework. Thank the Lord. Some days he will like fall asleep on a beanbag or on the couch. Like he still will some days take a nap, which he needs. Otherwise, he is a nightmare in the evening. TK is, it's been great for him, but it's just a long day. So it's tiring. So we do a little bit of homework. I am not a huge fan of homework. As a former teacher, I feel so bad that I ever assigned homework to my kid and my students. I wish we didn't have any. I like seeing what my kids are learning, but I wish we didn't have to sit down and do these boring worksheets. Jet's like a pretty good student. Like he doesn't like you don't have to push him too hard, but even he's like, "Oh, homework again. I don't want to do homework." So, it's just not fun. I don't enjoy doing that. Okay. By about 4:45, 5 o'clock, I already have to start doing like an early dinner because we leave for football practice. Um, in August, football practice was 5 days a week, and now we're down to 3 days a week. So that just feels like a dream now. But we'll do like a quick little dinner, like I'll make quesadillas for them or grilled cheese, just something quick because it's too early for them to be hungry, but we're at practice. So practice is we leave at 5:30 and don't get home till about 8:30. So then they're starving. Of course, they're starving when we get home. Um, but I don't know. So I feed them a little something. I might bring a few snacks with me. Um, but that's the way it is. You have an early dinner and then a late night snack, I guess. Ronan plays Pop Warner football. So we head to the field. My husband's one of the coaches. So I guess I technically don't have to be there. He sometimes has to come later from work. So of course I have to like get Ronan there. But I'm also the team mom of the team. So we have like a player book with all the kids' information and copies of the birth certificates and picture, all that stuff. And I'm technically supposed to have the book at practice, every practice. So yes, I am there. But I also do just love being around sports. I like watching practice. I think it's good for my other two to just be outside running around. Neither of them play yet. So I'm like, just go be free for 2 hours. Then we don't have to have you in the house. And then you're tired when you get home. Um, they do get in trouble a lot though. Oh my gosh. The amount of times these like little girls have come up to me and they're like, Jet, hit me. I'm like, you guys are playing tag. Like, ugh. So, but anyways, it's good for them. They're outside. Um, Practice ends now. It ends about 8 o'clock, I think, because it's getting a little darker and it's later in the season. Otherwise, it was going to like 8:30, which feels very late to have a 4-year-old out that late. I mean, Ronan, when he was 4, I had him in bed, no joke, by like 7 o'clock every night. It's bedtime, you're in bed. And now here Maverick is coming home at 8:30, not in bed till like 9:30. That's how the third child rolls. But when they get home, it's kind of like, let's just feed you something quick. Ronan takes a quick shower. Um, PB&J, here you go, just to give them something to eat because they've been complaining. I'm so hungry. But like family dinners for us doesn't happen that often during baseball season or football season and baseball season too. So when we do actually sit down to have a family dinner, I think my kids like freak out. They don't know how to sit still. They don't know how to stay at the table. They just start like getting up and wandering around. I told my husband the other day, I'm like, dinner time is like really not fun right now because they're like making these fart jokes and complaining about what I'm serving for dinner. So I don't know. I think we need to have a few more family dinners to get them used to it. But with our sports schedule, I don't know. It makes it hard. So, But we're able to get them in bed probably between 9 and 9:30. Um, and it does take them on those nights, on sports nights, they can usually go to bed pretty quickly. Maverick might come out of bed like once or twice, like, tell me something. Oh, mom, I need to tell you something. I'm like, just go to bed. I've clocked out. I'm done. I mean, we don't do this like crazy bedtime routine. It's like brush your teeth, put your pajamas on, good night. Um, I feel guilty that we don't read more to them, but it's late. So I do let Ronan listen to a book on tape because he needs to take all those reading quizzes. I'm like, here, let's start listening to some. Um, but for the most part, they'll go to sleep pretty quickly. And that's when Jake and I have a minute to ourselves. We usually try and like watch a show at night. He and I have like pretty similar tastes in shows. So, I mean, there's a lot that I like that he doesn't, but we have a lot in common that we do like. So we can usually find something similar to watch. Or if he wants to watch something that I'm like not that into, that's when I'll read my book. Um, but I do try and go to bed by like, I don't know, like 10:30 because I have to get up so early the next day. It's like I need to tap out now, otherwise I won't be able to get up in the morning. And gosh, my Pilates studio, you have to reserve a spot for the class and they fill up super fast, like weeks ahead of time. So you reserve your spot. If you end up not showing up to your spot, then you get fined or not fined. You have like a fee for a no-show. And you have to, like, if you want to cancel the class, you have to do it. I think it's like 8 to 12 hours ahead of time. So by 10 o'clock at night, I'm sitting there going, oh, maybe I should just not go tomorrow. But then it's too late. I can't cancel. So that's how they get me. But I'm in bed probably by about 10:30. And then I start my crazy day all over again. I don't know, going through and sharing that, I'm like, is my life really that boring? It does sound kind of boring, but I don't know. I like the routine of it and it's my crazy life. So, let me know in the comments. Tell me something about your daily life. Tell me something about, I don't know, do you also keep your kids up way later than you thought and feed them peanut butter and jelly for dinner? I don't know. That's how we roll. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed hearing about my life. Maybe it makes your sound way more exciting, or maybe you think, gosh, yeah, we're all kind of doing the same crazy life together. But I hope you enjoyed this. I look forward to chatting with you again next week for another Momversation. And I want to remind you that everyone burns their first pancake, so just keep flipping.